When we look at Miho's story, the film invites us to step quietly into the inner world of a young woman who appears to have everything organized: a stable job, a predictable routine, and a modest apartment that reflects the understated peace she has built for herself. Yet beneath this calm exterior, the narrative reveals a subtle emotional tension, a quiet emptiness that does not manifest through dramatic expressions, but through small, everyday moments. What the film does very well is showing how loneliness in the modern age can be soft, almost invisible, yet persistent. Miho is not portrayed as someone struggling dramatically, nor is she shown as unhappy with her achievements. Instead, her solitude is depicted in a relatable way. She returns home after work, heats up dinner for one, scrolls through social media out of habit rather than interest, and ends the day quietly. These scenes are not meant to evoke sadness, but to reflect a reality familiar to many people navigating adulthood. The turning point came when Miho came across a simple flyer advertising a make friends and chat service. This moment not as desperation, but as curiosity. Miho's decision to scan the QR code and explore the service is portrayed with sincerity and calm, emphasizing that reaching out for companionship is not a sign of weakness, but a natural human response to isolation. This tone keeps the material gentle and encouraging, allowing viewers to reflect on their own experiences without judgment. Upon entering the online platform, Miho meets Tony, a young man whose personality contrasts with hers in subtle yet complementary ways. He is portrayed as kind-hearted, slightly awkward, and genuinely interested in conversation. Their initial exchanges are simple and unforced, sharing daily routines, small observations, and lighthearted comments. These early interactions illustrate how emotional comfort can arise from ordinary conversations rather than intense or dramatic moments. By presenting their connection as slow and authentic, the film subtly challenges assumptions about digital relationships being shallow or temporary. Miho's journey as an exploration rather than a conflict. Technology, often criticized for creating distance, can also serve as a bridge when used with intention and empathy. The storytelling approach encourages audiences to see digital communication not as a replacement for in-person interaction, but as a meaningful tool for emotional support, especially for individuals navigating solitude. Through this gentle beginning, the film offers both reflection and reassurance, shaping an experience that is thoughtful, accessible, and deeply human. What begins as occasional chat messages evolves into a consistent presence in Miho's life. The film handles this progression with care, emphasizing not intensity, but steadiness, a kind of emotional reliability that many people quietly long for. Their conversations are uncomplicated, yet meaningful. They share small victories from work, moments of frustration, and even trivial observations about their day. It is within these exchanges that the film identifies a key truth. Connection does not always emerge from dramatic events. Sometimes it grows from gentle, repeated kindness. One evening, after another long day at work, Miho sits at her kitchen table with her laptop open, waiting for Tony's message. When it arrives, she smiles in a way that the film subtly highlights. It is a quiet smile, the kind that reflects comfort rather than excitement. This small moment becomes central to the story because it marks the point when Miho recognizes the impact Tony has on her daily life. The film does not portray this realization with dramatic music or heightened emotion. Instead, it offers a calm, reflective pause. Miho looks around her apartment, still the same, still quiet, yet now, the silence feels different. It is no longer a void, but a space filled with the presence of someone who understands her, even from afar. This recognition shapes the emotional climax. The film delicately explores the idea that companionship can exist in forms that are just as meaningful as traditional in-person relationships. Through careful pacing and gentle framing, it shows that emotional support can be conveyed through words on a screen, as long as they are sincere. Viewers are invited to reflect on how modern friendships are often built not through physical proximity, but through attentive communication and mutual respect. The film also takes this moment to address a broader theme: the nature of loneliness in an interconnected world. Miho's experience highlights that loneliness is not always about being alone. Sometimes it stems from feeling unseen or unheard. Tony's presence, though virtual, fills that emotional gap. By responding thoughtfully, sharing his own stories, and making time for their conversations, he provides the affirmation Miho quietly needed. Their bond becomes a reminder that emotional well-being often comes from feeling understood, and understanding can emerge in the simplest exchanges. She begins to look forward to their conversations, not out of dependency, but out of genuine joy. The film makes a point to keep their connection balanced, healthy, and grounded. It avoids exaggeration and instead showcases how two ordinary people can support each other in meaningful ways through consistent, kind communication. Miho's growing appreciation for Tony's presence serves as the central emotional turning point, not because something dramatic happens, but because she begins to understand herself more deeply through the experience of being valued and heard. This realization sets the stage for the next phase of their journey, where the nature of their bond will continue to evolve with the same warmth and authenticity that defines their story. The drama begins with a subtle change in Miho's rhythm. She notices how her day feels slightly incomplete when Tony is unavailable to chat. The film does not portray this as a dependency. Rather, it frames it as a sign of how meaningful their conversations have become. Miho starts reflecting more deeply on her emotions, questioning how an online friendship could hold such a steady presence in her life. The drama here is reflective, not disruptive, and it encourages viewers to consider how digital bonds can evolve in ways they may not expect. At the same time, the film highlights Tony's growing appreciation for their friendship. He often shares small stories he does not tell anyone else, trusting that Miho will understand. Each exchange builds on the previous one, illustrating how shared vulnerability, expressed through everyday language, can form a real foundation for connection. The drama emerges from the recognition that these feelings, though quiet, carry weight. She realizes that Tony has become someone she genuinely looks forward to hearing from, someone who quietly brightens her routine. What does this friendship truly mean to her? How real can a digital bond be? What place does Tony hold in her life? The turning point came when Tony unexpectedly became busy with a new project at work, disrupting their usual conversation schedule. Miho notices the difference, but she does not dwell on it negatively. Instead, she uses the time to reflect on how much her emotional landscape has changed since meeting Tony. The distance highlights the meaning they have built together, showing that healthy friendships can adapt, adjust, and continue without losing their warmth. Miho and Tony's friendship has quietly become a central part of their emotional lives. The film prepares viewers for the natural evolution of that connection, an evolution that will unfold not with intensity, but with kindness, intention, and genuine human warmth. What began as simple online conversations has now matured into a meaningful emotional anchor. And through this evolution, the film gently illustrates how human connection, no matter the format, can enrich daily life when approached with sincerity. Their conversations, though simple, have taught her that feeling understood does not require grand gestures. Sometimes it is found in everyday moments, shared with someone who genuinely listens. Her life remains the same on the surface, same job, same apartment, same routines, but internally, she feels more grounded. The emotional emptiness that once followed her has softened, not because her external circumstances changed, but because she learned to open a small part of her world to someone else. Tony does not fix anything for Miho. Instead, his presence offers companionship in a steady, genuine way. In a world where digital interactions sometimes receive criticism for feeling superficial, Miho's story challenges that assumption with warmth and nuance. Her friendship with Tony shows that digital spaces, when used thoughtfully, can nurture real understanding and emotional support. The film closes with a warm message. Meaningful relationships grow from kindness, attentiveness, and an open heart. Whether formed online or in person, they can enrich life in unexpected and deeply human ways.